I know Raid Shadow Legends is bad, because I've never seen fan art of any of the characters. 6 works in Raid Shadow Legends, video game. Yeah. Holy crap, knew it was bad, but this is dire. I just had the funniest experience in VR chat. I joined a random server and the one I joined had Japanese people, so I waddled around in my goofy Club Penguin avatar that I have saved. After a while, a guy walks up to me and clones my avatar, so we're both penguins. Then another guy shows up and clones my avatar. Now keep in mind, they're only speaking Japanese. I don't know what they're saying. Then another guy joins in, so I got a group of 3 penguin friends. We just waddle around and goof about, then one of them tries to talk to me, but not only do I not have a mic, I also don't speak Japanese. They figure out I don't speak Japanese and start listing various places. They get the part of being European right, and after listing a lot of places, they ask if I'm from the UK, and when I nod, they all just start cheering. After hanging out for a while, one of them gets real close to me and whispers, "Penguin Brothers forever." Somebody made a Steam game where you can really play the fake games from those mobile game ads. Yeah, you want those games, right? So here you go. Now, let's see you clear them. What's the name? That is the name. The secret sauce of cool male love interests in fiction is to make them openly pathetic and undignified once per every 2 to 3 epic moments they get. This is called the Howl ratio. Howl's Moving Castle is the only film I can point to and say, this is a film that caters to the female gaze. This is the ideal male body type and behavior skill set. He's even worse in the books. Complimentary. The Japanese ne particle and the British slang term in it serve the same function. Standard English, it's cold, isn't it? Japanese, samui desu ne. British, it's freaking freezing, isn't it? Kawaii desu. In it, bruv. I have to do everything around here. I hate this because I did Japanese for like a year, and this explains the use of the ne particle way better than my teachers ever did. It took me ages to comprehend what this post makes abundantly clear. My teachers, it's like a little rise at the end of a sentence to show that you are seeking a response, while not warranting the ka particle, which would make it a proper question. Me, okay, I guess I get that. This post, it's like saying in it. Me, oh no! Fun fact, as far as I know, ne was inherited from the Portuguese settlers / priests that stayed in Japan in the 16th century. It comes from ne, which is the contraction of noe, isn't it? It's literally in it. Oh, so like A in Canadian. Unbabbles your tower. My boss, who is a grown woman with children my age, just whispered, "Oh, this is going to be so freaking efficient," before spraying Febreze directly into the ceiling fan and proceeding to cough her guts out when it blew back in her face. House in 2024 would have House come and calling a patient it, and Foreman chasing Cameron would be like, "Whoa, what the hell, House? You can't call a person an it," only for House to tell them to look at the patient's pronouns on the chart for the pronouns to be it/its, and House is like, "Unlike you all, I actually respect people's pronouns." I can hear it in his voice. Guy responding to, "How's it going?" severity scale. Not bad equals bad. Can't complain equals weeks ruined. It's going equals worst day of life yet. Another day in paradise equals said while purchasing cigarettes for the first time in 2 years. You know, equals we'll be driving home in the wrong lane. Further Americanisms that tell you to check on your American. Been better equals in hell. Doing all right equals sad, needs hug. Pretty great, genuine actual baseline. Anything else ranks beneath this. Be aware. I'm here, ain't I? Equals DEFCON 5. Because someone asked, indications that an American is actually having a good day include awesome, fantastic, damn good day, great day to be alive. Dude, you're never gonna believe this. I called my brother a wife guy, and he was like, "What's that?" So I told him it's a man who's obsessed with his wife. And there was a pause as he went through all 5 stages of grief in about 20 seconds, and then said, "Well, what do other people do?" But I was so caught up in the euphoria of having a wife that for like a minute, I lived in a world where men who hate their wives didn't exist. Poor guy. If it sounds like the composer is trying to blast you with the orchestra until you're as deaf as he is, it's Beethoven. If it sounds like the composer might be a vampire, it's Bach. If it sounds like the composer is trying to set the violins on fire, it's Vivaldi. If it sounds like the composer is trying to shoot you, it's Tchaikovsky. If it sounds like the composer is mansplaining to you, it's Wagner. If it sounds like the composer is making fun of you, it's Mozart. If it sounds like the composer is being a father figure to the music itself, it's Haydn. If it sounds like the composer is playing Star Wars 60 years early, it's Holst. If it sounds like the composer is trying to incite a riot, it's Stravinsky. The idea that your friends won't like you if you're too weird is wrong. For example, one time, I told a friend whenever I was losing my mind, I laid down on the floor under my desk and stared at it until I was better, and next time she visited me, she taped a bag of salami snacks to the other side of my desk with a message saying, "Going insane all by yourself, handsome," which I only saw months later when I had a breakdown. That's friendship. Top funniest things about this image. The "Jesse, what the hell are you talking about?" line never happens. It's not a real line. The context of this scene is that it takes place immediately after one of, if not the most gruesome murder scene in the entire show and its subsequent aftermath, and Walt is attempting to talk through it with Jesse to figure out where he's standing mentally wise. They're both wearing matching dollar store outfits they just bought because their clothes got covered in blood during the aforementioned murder scene they witnessed. Walt still has the large size sticker on his shirt. If anything, the line "not happening" has always enhanced the meme for me. It's almost metatextually asking, what is Jesse talking about? Because the meme does not know. It made up the subtitles just like every edit of the meme is doing. It's almost a request to be edited by people. Deep down, it does not matter what was originally said, just what is being conveyed by the meme, because all memes like this alter the text that is being said, and yet for some reason, we expect that some aspect be true to the original source text. It's a reference to nothing, a fake statement that is not in the show, that gets used to constantly reference real things completely unrelated to the show. I appreciate the content warnings and understand their importance, but I can't help but giggle a little bit when I click on a FNAF fic, and half the chapters have child death warnings in their notes. Sir, this is the child death game. I think I know what I'm signing up for. Entering the child death and murder fandom. Why the flip is this place so full of child murder? The flip do you mean, OP? Isn't Five Nights at Freddy's about silly little murder robots trying to kill you, an adult security guard? Am I missing something? Are you in the right headspace to receive information that can possibly hurt you right now? Okay, but I literally write for the incest fandom and get hate for having clearly labeled incest ships. There are literally people who write. What the flip is the incest fandom? Oh my god, they make Game of Thrones. What the flip happens in Game of Thrones? Now, are you in the right headspace to receive information that can possibly hurt you right now? Pro tip for writing military characters: do not give them a cool nickname. Literally every military nickname is either an insult or a reminder of an embarrassing incident. For example, my nickname was Firehose because I once got really drunk and peed myself. I'm not ashamed to admit this, because everyone I knew with a nickname had a similarly embarrassing origin. Mine was Rat, because I was short for the army and ugly. We had a true lost in translation moment with flag signaling today. Some background: the International Code of Signals is used as shorthand for communicating important information between vessels until this day. Everyone carries a flag alphabet for this purpose. You can raise flags separately or together to indicate conditions and requests. So when my crewmate informed me that the Navy boat we were passing had 2 signal flags up, I asked him to relay me the message because I was busy downstairs. Here is what he saw through the binoculars. The flag on the left is Alpha. I have a diver down, keep well clear at slow speed. And the right one is Bravo. I am taking in or discharging or carrying dangerous goods. The vessel most likely had clearance divers out to remove underwater explosives and wanted others to steer clear. However, my beloved crewmate only vaguely recalled that Alpha stands for divers and Bravo stands for dangerous. So imagine my surprise when they hesitantly relayed that the Navy wants us to know that there's divers know how to fight? Thinking about the girl I saw in the Delhi metro charging her phone, but her cord was too short, so she put her phone on her head. Every time someone makes an artist's rendition of a weird little guy they saw in public, instead of recording them without consent, an angel gets its wings. We're having coitus and you pull out at the end to discover your Richard is entirely gone, dissolved. I've digested it like a pitcher plant. Bye! You'd unfollow me for my pitcher plant privates post after the beautiful night we shared? Was it a beautiful night? Pieces is gone! I'm afraid of getting cancer from the cadmium in my painting supplies. I'm not. I love you, cadmium yellow. I love you, vermilion red. I love you, uranium orange. Haven't worked with you, but I love you nevertheless. Most of all, I love you, arsenic green. This dress could kill you, but I completely understand why people in the late 19th century were willing to take that risk. Here is uranium orange fiesta wear, proving that beauty truly is pain. Just found out about London purple. I was wondering what was involved with London purple so as to merit its inclusion alongside such stars as arsenic green and uranium orange, and London purple, hazardous agents. Highly toxic by inhalation, skin absorption, and ingestion. A solid consisting of a mixture of arsenic trioxide, aniline, lime, and ferrous oxide. Ah, cool. Gotcha. Do you like the color of the poison? The other day, I started writing an office romance, but I quickly remembered that I have no idea what working in an office is like. As opposed to your vast personal expertise in romance. Americans be like, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. Americans be like, I'm gonna go watch a horror movie. Americans be like, I'm gonna eat an orange. Americans see a tree rodent and go, look, a squirrel. Americans be like, could you get me a glass of water? I'm not even the type of guy to go, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. Because a painting by Rembrandt or Picasso or any other artist is often called a Rembrandt, or a Picasso is shorthand. So in this respect, Frankenstein's monster can be considered a Frankenstein. Darling, I love your 8-foot-tall patchwork flesh creature. It really livens up the place. Is that an authentic Frankenstein? It's only a true Frankenstein if it was produced in the Frankenstein region of Switzerland. Otherwise, it's just a sparkling homunculus. Today I learned there are 3 types of fun. Type 1 fun is enjoyable while it's happening. Type 2 fun is miserable while it's happening, but fun in retrospect. Type 3 fun is not fun at all, not even in retrospect. How the flip is an activity that's no fun during or after it considered a type of fun? You know how a lot of people play a game called League of Legends? This is so flipping funny. The shooting competitions use shotguns like it's World War I, or air rifles like babies. This is like them having a typewriter typing competition and then inviting the world champions of laptops and MS Word. Eurotrash are ichorally too backwards and broke to afford nicer guns like Americans. Japan made an assassination with a doohickey, and we failed an assassination with an automatic rifle. I think it's just a skill issue. 3 components of world building. 1. The author's kinks. 2. The author's power fantasy. 3. The author's political agenda. Plot and logic optional. 4. The author's formative trauma unrecognized until after they hit post and then reread it for typos, only to blink in shock and say, oh, flip. 5. The author's personal grievances with other works in the same genre. May relate to number 3, but not always. 6. The author's favorite bit of historical, cultural, or scientific trivia or other academic obsession that they can only stop talking about to eat and maybe breathe in if they can't get circular breathing down. I would be a kitty pet all the way in the Warrior Cats universe. If I heard a bunch of guys were in the woods killing each other for survival and they think I'm the lame one for getting mediocre banquets, I would be like, you guys are stupid. And then when the ThunderClan medicine cat comes by my fence a lot to pick Yarrow, I would be like, what are you doing? And she's like, medicine so my clan mates don't die. And I'm like, wow, you guys really have it that rough. And she keeps encountering me, and one day I'm like, why don't you come inside? There's plenty of kibble. And she averts her eyes shyly and is like, no, that would be against StarClan. And I'd go, to have a little kibble? And she's like, you know what I mean, and I do. 5 moons later, she is getting adopted by my people, and visions of her ancestors still haunt her. And she is from time to time like, did I do the right thing? How could I be so selfish? And I'm like, my toy mouse squeaks. This sucks so bad. I need to remember suicide jokes only worsen my mental health. Put on the best talent show this town's ever seen. OP, I hope you know that this post is a big hit on the adolescent psych ward. Genuinely very helpful to get kids to start reframing their negative thoughts. Guys, this post is a big hit on the adolescent psych ward. Fish in the Great Lake being like, wait, crap, wrong freaking post. lighthouses of the Great Lakes. And people will say Chicago is not a coastal city. Okay, so it took me a second to remember that the Great Lakes are freaking massive, and I couldn't help imagining. We could have this if we weren't a nation of cowards. Fish in the Great Lake being like, all sports, this barely alive man in his old age of 34 is still very good and is aiming for the next Olympics. Shooting, this 57-year-old youngster is just starting his career. Skateboarding, look at this 19-year-old ancient veteran hag. She's been here for 12 years, got 3 Olympic medals, and is retiring next year. My boyfriend edited this one picture of a seal with huge wet eyes so that it had a super tiny head, and it was so funny that several days later, it's all I can think about when my brain isn't preoccupied. Boyfriend here, world needs to see the image. I stopped reading DNIs because 90% of the time they were just freaking inscrutable to me. I'd go to somebody's page and it would be like, DNI if you're a Kozla apologist. So then I would Google Kozla and it was just like, well, either things are really heating up in the Convention of Scottish Local Authorities fandom, or I still have no idea what the flip this person is talking about. Or DNI if you identify as ANFO. Okay, well, I definitely don't identify as ammonium nitrate / fuel oil, but that's probably not what you meant. Although, hey, maybe you did. I obviously don't know enough about your views on chemical compounds to outright dispute that option. Like, you have my blessing to hate whatever obscure fandom pairing or super niche kink group you want. But just know I'm embracing ignorance on this one and will not be looking that crap up. Peace. Reading DNIs is like reading conlang heavy sci-fi. Cards are the worst. I hate seeing a funny tweet and looking at the person's bio and clicking a link and seeing like, DNI if you support sexualizing the cars from the movie Cars, and I'm like, to be honest, I've never thought about this before, so I don't know where I stand on the issue. Wait, which series does Miles Morales first appear in? All these different series are so confusing. Ultimate Spider-Man, in the universe of the Ultimate Imprint. It was the best of the Ultimate series. Cool. Ultimate Spider-Man. Ultimate Spider-Man 2009. Ultimate Spider-Man 2000, Cataclysm Ultimate Spider-Man, Miles Morales Ultimate Spider-Man, Marvel Universe Ultimate Spider-Man Spider-Verse, Ultimate Spider-Man Infinite Comics 2016, Ultimate Spider-Man Infinite Comics 2015, Marvel Universe Ultimate Spider-Man vs. the Sinister Six, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 2011, Ultimate Comics Spider-Man 2009. Man, what the flip? This is the most accurate post about getting into comic books I have ever seen. Lady Pyro, holy crap, you've made it as a Tumblr personality! You've been put on a YouTube short! Yay, I love getting my Tumblr post stolen and used in a soulless content farm for someone else's benefit and seeing none of the profit. Yay, yay. Maybe, if you have a significantly funny exchange on this post, you can get them to steal it and have them insult themselves with zero irony or self-awareness. They would still make money, so this wouldn't comfort me. Basically, for the past 100 years, when a group of guys got together and started hanging out, they would eventually form a band. This was when there was a balance in the universe. Then, at some point in the 2010s, a powerful crystal cracked and a single shard was lost, and then strife began. And now when a group of guys get together, they form a podcast. Find your future wife on Tie Me Too. I'm not a lesbian as far as I know, and I already have a wife, but thanks, Tumblr? Man, what did I click on that Tumblr thinks I'm gay? The sign-in button? I'm not like a superhero comic fan or anything, but seeing that Batman is involved in like regular high-stakes superhero crap is so funny. Like, dude, why do you care that Green Lantern's dad is gonna crash the moon into Earth? What are you gonna do about that? It's handled. But the Riddler's gonna blow up the pier if you don't solve his boat riddle. Dude, you gotta stop him. The Penguin is robbing the ice factory at midnight. He can't get away with this. You don't have time to stop an apocalypse laser in the desert or whatever, man. Mr. Freeze and his henchmen have taken over the TV station. Let Superman take care of the laser. Scarecrow is scaring everybody at the zoo. You have to do something about it. Honestly, this is so much nicer than red. This is Coca-Cola I can feel calm drinking. No bright screaming red, No anger, no hatred, just a nice sky blue. This is a soda I can feel relaxed with. Is everyone on this site a freaking bull? If I had to choose a last meal before getting sent to the gallows, I would choose all of the world's suffering, so nobody has to hurt anymore. I would choose Olive Garden Endless Breadsticks. Oh, I love breadsticks. Changing my answer. Our bodies are too intelligently designed to not believe in a divine creator. We have a shove food down this tube, dangerously close to our food must never block this airway tube, and they are behind identical unmarked doors in our throat. Waste comes out of the same hole is a key ingredient for life. I forgot Johnsons existed and thought you were suggesting humans had cloacas. Not until Congress approves my methods. The bots are going to be way more interesting once you're in charge. You know how IRL scientists are always ready to throw hands over certain topics? What I want to know is what kind of stupid arguments Pokemon scientists get into fights over. A heated battle starts in the middle of a conference because someone asked if Slowking Shelder could be considered its own separate species or not. Scientist steps onto the stage. A photo of a Flygon appears on the projector screen. She hits the screen with a pointer stick. Bug. Entire auditorium erupts into furious shouting. Suck my willy. Me, an intellectual. Inhale my Richard. Here it is, the post that started a me, an intellectual hell frenzy, and is officially the worst post of 2016. You, the worst post of 2016. Me, an intellectual. Modern art. Any story claiming to be a deconstruction of fairy tales, but has nothing to offer except new types of violence, more explicit coitus, and a general attitude of, lol, happy endings aren't real, is like such a cultural waste of time, to be honest. Know what actually is a good deconstruction of a fairy tale? Shrek. It screws up just about everything in a normal fairy tale, and still manages to have a happy ending, with a good message, and never once has to be gritty or dark. It's actually really well done. Wait, is Mr. Beast an actual person? I always just assumed that was a straw man hypothetical of like worst possible stereotypical famous YouTuber. Fascinated by this reply. The gimmick blogs are like Tumblr's rogue gallery. Yes, we've got some heroes, yes, we've got some villains, but more importantly, if you look over here, you will see some freak who devotes all their time to counting the number of T's in a post. T count, 15. Letter count, 198. Your T percentage, 7.58. Average T percentage, 6.95. You use the letter T 1.09 times as much as average. You exist? Sometimes you create a guy and it turns out they already exist. Sometimes that guy has skills beyond your comprehension at identifying cars and posts. 1993 to 1997 Mazda 626. You had the whole sidewalk, but chose to lie down on the red paint and scare the flip out of me. He's lying on the red paint because it has more positive associations than negative ones. Come on, this is a basic color theory. This will never not be funny. Thinking about how when my oldest brother took Japanese classes, his professor was like, your pronunciation is really good, but you need to watch movies that aren't about the Yakuza because you sound like a criminal. Somewhere in this beautiful world, there is a man who sounds like Paulie Walnuts because he learned English by watching The Sopranos. Let me just tell you something about this final scene. I sat through this whole movie, thoroughly enjoying every last little bit of it. I even made a running motion when the first two GIFs happened. When the movie finished, my boyfriend was very, very quiet, and he looked a little sad. I was very confused because it was a fantastic movie. He turned to me and asked, is that supposed to represent how our education system doesn't make enough accommodations for mentally slower students? Monsters University was a little deeper than I thought. Tumblr, shut up! He is a slug! The literal message is, he is a slug who is slow like slugs in nature, so stop! Don't be like Sasuke. Explain? Killed his brother, left his wife and child to go wander the world because he feels bad, needed 500 episodes to actually have a redemption arc, needed a redemption arc, tried to kill his best friend several times but always failed at it because the friend was A, better than him, and B, way too good a sport about all the murder attempts. stabbed someone who has shown nothing but love and compassion for him and has shown concern for his well-being twice, used a loyal companion of his as a meat shield during a fight he had barely any stakes in, had the freaking moxie, the freaking bravo, to even talk about becoming the Hokage after all the crap he's put everyone through, without even acknowledging the fact that Naruto has wanted to become Hokage since freaking forever. Still treated Sakura with no respect post-redemption arc even after marrying the woman. Doesn't tell his daughter that Sakura is her real mom and instead avoids the question to cause drama and taunt the Sasukarin fans. Sasuke invented emo culture, so all reblogs are cancelled. Anyone in this thread smoke weed? Sasuke would smoke weed. I don't even know anything about Naruto. I just made a post that said don't be like Sasuke and y'all pulled up some heavy receipts on that, man. Goodness. Sorry for how I acted when there were multiple noises happening at the same time.
Sorry for how I acted when there were multiple noises happening at the same time, ooh.
This post has been ooh-ified. Smash. Next question. The secret dungeon Meshi sauce that's getting people to eat better is that it's so non-judgmental. Senshi and the rest of the gang never talk about what not to eat besides things that taste bad and literal poison. They don't even talk about health that much, besides the importance of a balanced diet. It's so much easier to eat well when you think of food simply as something your body needs, and that it's often worth the extra effort to make it taste good, especially when you understand how to connect things your body needs with things that taste good. I love that when Marcille says she really wants some cured ham, Senshi says, oh, that means your body is craving fat, which is actually a very good and normal thing. Let's go kill a snake chicken and have a picnic. In my own experience with geology, most precautions with samples are to preserve the life and safety of the geologist. Most of the rocks are fine. I'm continually reminded of one of my colleagues who wanted to collect a sample of gypsum on a field excursion, but was too lazy to take off his backpack and get his rock hammer. So he said, it's soft enough. Just freaking punched the rock until a piece fell off like it was flipping Minecraft. Can't stop thinking about what happens to salmon when they get aroused. I'll bite. What happens when they get aroused? They literally transform into a new, unbelievably screwed up creature. You know what absolutely boggles my mind? That healthy people exist. Genuinely healthy people. No mental illness, no physical illness, no chronic illness. Just healthy. What a life that must be. This screws with my head though. There are people who get up and feel awake, and then they go and just do their adult responsibilities without feeling anxious or upset. They just return phone calls, answer calls from unknown numbers, don't procrastinate doing important things until it's a huge problem that makes you cry? That sounds fake. You wander through the ruins of a once mighty city. There you see a man grinning at you, wearing a rusted crown. You ask him why the flip would he wear an iron crown, and how the hell he got it wet enough for it to tarnish. At least gild it so the outside looks gold and it doesn't tarnish. What the flip? He gets really defensive about it, like weirdly defensive. Oh, he says. Oh, I'm sorry I don't, carry gilding materials around. Sorry I'm not prepared like you. Where's your crown, huh? You don't have one? I didn't think so. Watch yourself. Me, strapped to a chair in a cold interrogation room with a middle-aged man pacing back and forth. Him, projects a picture of Sam and Frodo onto the wall. What is their relationship? Me, their ship is valid and very cute, but we should also consider the idea that their admiration and respect for one another is a deep, platonic bond. Love doesn't always have to be romantic, and it is important for men to be able to express their platonic care for one another in a way that toxic masculinity doesn't currently allow. Him, okay, projects a picture of Legolas and Gimli. What's their Me, they're banging. RFK Jr. admits to dumping bear carcass in New York Central Park. The US presidential election is incredible. How often does a real-life tragedy get comic relief? He tells Miss Barr that he had the idea of staging a bike accident with the bear carcass in Central Park, which several drunk people with him heartily endorsed. He emphasizes that he had not been drinking. Well, it took nearly 10 years, but I got my answer. Who the flip hits a bear cub with their car, probably by accident, and then brings it to drop it in Central Park? Does anyone have any sin recommendations? I just fell from the Garden of Eden 5 seconds ago. Sodomy. 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 weed, then sodomy. I cannot recommend wearing fabric of mixed materials enough. I like how people on Tumblr/Twitter's examples of irredeemable media are always coincidentally media that had been highly popular online 5 years prior and would, say, potentially be something a young adult might be embarrassed about having liked as a teenager at one point. 19-year-old can't believe they ever cared about Homestuck. Ugh. Also considering Steven Universe tattoo. Hypothetical scenario for you all. The real King Arthur returns. You meet him and you welcome him into your home. What is the first thing you do with him? Keep in mind, this is a man from the 500s. He died in 542, and you are from the 21st century, 2024. 1. Explain what a TV is. 2. Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I just think he'd get a solid chuckle out of it. As someone who got 2 concussions this year and inhaled toxic substances at the workplace, I can confidently inform you all that all characters in the Star Wars prequels are absolved of stupidity. They're all dumb as a box of rocks, but it's not their fault that no one made them wear helmets in wartime. The introduction of Sposha, Space OSHA, would reduce incidences of Darth Vader creation by at least 1. I just know it. Star Wars could be so good if everyone wore more PPE. I adore so much that you specifically took the version of Anakin that is wearing PPE to add PPE too. Gorgeous comedic touch. This image matters to me. Bro, I heard you like helmets, so we put a helmet on your helmet. Adding helmets like it will undo the literal crater in his skull. Cats are great, because they just accept that being bothered by you is like part of the social contract. Unfortunately, this contract is reciprocal, and they will call due when you are trying to play computer games specifically. Ask a local if it's a thrift store or a vintage clothing reseller. They're confused. I pull out the diagram explaining the difference between a thrift store and a vintage reseller. They laugh. It's a thrift store, ma'am. Look inside. Crusty jean jacket priced at $200. I am fascinated by how the creepy or wet gym bot post and wireless controller has wires inside green text have merged over time into this combination of the two. It's like a business merger that nobody knows happened. The interior of a Panera is designed to contain a minotaur. The interior of my body is also designed to contain a minotaur. Sorry. Never apologize for speaking your truth, King. Heart. Half of college professors are like, you can know nothing about me except my name. And the other half are like, and that's why my wife left me. Anyway, what's up with y'all? There were 2 professors like this in my department, and I was one of like 20 people who was taught by both of them, so there was a very small gang of us who knew that Professor Brickwall and Professor Overshare were married with 2 kids. I once told my lecturer I liked his sweater vest, and he said, thank you. It ended my relationship. I say this every time I have to mow a lawn, but literally mowing lawn is the most wasteful, miserable task human beings are expected to do on a regular basis for no pay except for, I guess, ones I don't know about or I'm forgetting. Like, it's comedically bad. You take a big, horrible, loud machine that belches smoke, and you drive it over the plants you deliberately keep in your yard whenever they look too happy and alive, and the machine hurts them and cuts down the flowers, and kills whatever tiny animals are hiding in the grass that can't get away, and kicks dust and dirt into the air, and when the area you're using the machine on looks like crap again, you're done. Hot things to say during coitus. Cursed to put my hands on everything. Else, something just woke up down here. Shouldn't have wished to live in more interesting times. All's well that ends. Not as bad as it could have. These boots have seen everything. All is ash and meat. No one back home will ever believe this. Deeply fascinated by the people who heard rightful criticism of generative AI, i.e. ChatGPT, etc., and decided all machine learning is evil or something. You sound like a sci-fi villain. You sound like the character who's wrong on an episode of Star Trek. That's not how this works. I feel like some people's takeaway from the 2020s AI boom and immediate backlash has been, the computers are evil? when it's more like the computers are tools and the entities with the most money to develop them are mega corporations with zero regard for ethics, data privacy, plagiarism, wasting a buttload of energy, etc. Like, it's not sentient and it's not gonna get you. It's just our cool new future capitalistic exploitation. You're getting mad at a hammer instead of the guy hitting people with it. What is the plot of Super HX Eros? Plot: a hero is made of H and arrow. An alien species called Kiseichu is plotting to gradually eradicate the human race by controlling and draining humanity's sexual energy. 5 of the sexiest high school students on Earth must band together to defeat the alien menace. You ever read the plot of an anime and immediately feel a sense of dread? I'll be like 40 with no kids, and people will say, "Aw, I'm so sorry for you." And I'll be like, "How was the freaking Wiggles reunion tour, butthead? I went to Italy last week for fun and didn't have to hire a sitter." This is a very sad mentality. To think oneself more important than that of progeny is the sign of a failed human life. So the Wiggles concert wasn't as good as you thought it would be, huh? Developing allergies as an adult is so weird, because you're just going about your life, assuming you've got the basics of existing in a corporeal form figured out, and suddenly it just, "What the fuck, why am I on fire?" Never mind, it turned out I just inhaled cayenne pepper. False alarm. Update: guess who's allergic to cayenne pepper? This post, grown adults will get on the internet and say things like,
Why is this movie about the protagonist, the titular character?
"Just walk into the ocean, I cannot help you."
That villain was so problematic.
Yeah, it was their job. See this guy? This absolutely erudite fellow? He wears my glasses when I am not. They are comically large on him and it makes me laugh every time. It's the only reason I ever know where my glasses are. I can't leave my glasses on the dinner table. My owl dude needs them to read. I absolutely added this to the wrong post. No, please go on. Oh, for Pete's sake! Okay, Ajax soap. Their slogan is stronger than grease. And I was like, okay, yeah, makes sense for a dish soap. Wait! Ajax was a Greek soldier renowned for his strength. Ajax is stronger than all of Greece! Someone who worked at Ajax has literally waited 66 years for you to get this. I think dudes who say crap like, "I couldn't love a child that wasn't mine," shouldn't have kids. "I could never be a stepdad because I could never love another man's child." Another man's child? Not your hypothetical wife's child? You look at a kid and see another man's coitus trophy instead of seeing a human being? I'm not sure you could successfully be a parent to your own biological child. We need more honorifics for when you get good at something, like doctor. Like, maybe if you eat 1 million hot dogs, you can be hitdig. That's a freaking stupid example, but you're not paying me to come up with posts, now are you? We were meant to live slowly. We were meant to savor moments and feel unabashedly lazy and frolic and smell the flowers and laugh with our entire hearts and love with our entire souls. Don't ever feel guilty for resting. Don't ever feel guilty for slowing down. Enjoying life shouldn't be something you're ashamed of. How are you doing, my friend? Not great, as you should know. Why didn't you vouch for me in the big court case? They put me in a little birdcage swinging precariously over a big moat of lava. Every day, I have to eat a big bowl of gazpacho. Why? What's wrong with you? Maybe I shouldn't respond to wrong number texts anymore. Yesterday, I got the "Are you a boy or are you a girl?" question from a 6-year-old, and I told her that some people aren't boys or girls, like me. I was expecting her to be a little confused, but she nodded thoughtfully and said, "Wow, just like snails." Google, even though you've enslaved half the world, you're still a damn fine search engine. Well, that certainly sums up my feelings towards Google. I think of this scene every time I tearfully admit DuckDuckGo just can't understand me in this particular search as well as Google can. I have never seen someone escape the cycle of suffering and reach true and perfect zen the way that one of my D&D players, an honest-to-God tenured college dean and professor, does when he inhabits his 7 intelligence bardlock elf pretty boy. Brain goes in a jar on the shelf for 2 hours, nothing between those pointy ears but one jingle bell rolling back and forth. Refers to his patron as his sugar mama, and that warlock cantrip as Elvis Blast. You can see the player knowing and suspecting things and gleefully not acting on them. I love it so much. Next week, I'm gonna see if I can bait him into banging a vampire MILF. I bet it'll work. Update. Despite the best efforts of the orc fighter / paladin, he did in fact bang the vampire MILF. Yusuf Dikech and his cat selfies. Cat dads are the superior men, and the only ones I will not immediately throw to the wolves when I become leader of the free world and turn this into a matriarchy. I beg your pardon? Why must it always be peppering? Why can't I salt my lover with kisses? Paprika my lover with kisses? 3 tablespoons chili powder, 2 teaspoons ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoons oregano my lover with kisses. Yeah, why can't I cumin my lover? People who don't wear glasses don't get the added benefit of taking off your HD eyesight for a while. Just screw it, I'm done. 240p vision time. I've seen enough. So my Tumblr app is doing this fun thing where it just shows me empty posts sometimes, because why not? And this one just really worked for me.
If you take medication for that, you'll be taking medication all your life.
Yeah? And? Bud, I already put on my glasses every morning. It's like a condition of mine, not a side hobby I'm pursuing irresponsibly. And the thrilling sequel.
Taking meds for that is the easy way out.
Right you are, my dude. I'm a huge fan of not making things harder than they have to be. If you are taking the car to Chicago, can you even call yourself a feminist? There are women on that train who want to have gay coitus with you, but can't because you are taking a freaking car to Chicago. Right now, there's a very buff butch woman all alone in the cafe car, and she could be having steamy gay coitus with you and be moving into your apartment if you were just willing to take the train to Chicago. Amtrak, honey, you want to tell us something? I'm busy trying to get more lesbians to ride the train instead of taking their Subarus to Chicago. Okay, so I found the most incredible horse statue while doing research for my job, and guys, are you ready for this? Are you sure you're freaking ready for this thing? Sees 2 notes. Flip yes, let's freaking go. Behemoth. I saw the opposite of this horse. Haunts and hearse. About the first horse. The sculptor is Fernando Botero, and in Barcelona, we have this chunky cat also by him. I asked the bartender for a coffee with no milk, and he said we're out of no milk, and gave me a cup full of milk. Filed under posts I stare at and wait for the laugh to come. Come on. Not mad, this is funny. Just witnessed a girl spot her friend in the grocery store, and instead of calling her over, she started making turkey noises, and her friend, who apparently recognized her call, responded with higher-pitched turkey noises before she even saw her, and they used turkey echolocation to find each other. Friendship between girls is a beautiful thing, heart. These were grown women in their late 30s, early 40s, by the way. Never let aging make you lose your whimsy. Or your turkey calls. Me, sees Northerners complain about studio apartments costing over $1K a month. Me, in Louisiana, laughs as I write my rent check for $400. Me, grabs my sword to defend myself against the man-sized mosquitoes burning crosses in my front yard. I can't tell if this is making fun of Northerners or Southerners. There's a cat in the gay bar. Favorite photo of all time, not even joking. Fun fact, I've seen this post on various blogs for quite some years, and I can finally tell you guys, I know this cat. It is this very one. The bar is called Preek, obviously. It's in Amsterdam, and last time I checked, the cat is called Preekadiek. I've left Facebook a long time ago, so maybe they've replaced her since. I don't know. It's also a very nice gay bar with very nice people, by the way. Highly recommended if you want a gay cocktail in Amsterdam Centrum. 10 to 15 minutes walk from Central Station. The cat may be hard to find when it's busy on evenings. And on the second picture, you can even see where the first pic was taken. Thank you for attending my TED Talk. Please clap. They have him on their website. The idea of consuming two conflicting things that promise to do the opposite of each other has always been hilarious to me. There's a liquid shot-based sleep aid called 6 Hours Sleep, and as soon as I saw it, I immediately imagined mixing it and a 5-hour energy together for a 1-hour nap. Mix NyQuil and DayQuil to create Quill. What does Quill do? All the time, all the time. I just had to go get my blood taken again because the test results for the previous one were inconclusive, and the woman taking my blood again told me that it was because the electrolysis machine exploded with my blood inside it. Blood too strong. Lab technician. Don't tell anyone though. Me in my head. This is going to be a hit on Tumblr. Yes, I like to feel cozy. I like to feel tucked in, nestled in. Love to be nestled. He would do numbers on Tumblr. I can know what you're talking about if he had his own blog, but I tajink it's important to acknowledge that this man is consistently doing numbers on Tumblr. Liek freaking constantly. Liberal anime, gay note, when they cry, LGBT star, code chaos. Nana. Ghost in the She-Her, Drag Ball Z, Full Metal Alchemist Siblinghood, Joe Biden's Bizarre Adventure, Mob Mentally Ill 100, Non-Binary Hero Academia, EX Him, One Punch Woman, Orin High School GSA Club, High Queer, Monthly Persons Nozaki-kun, Yaoi on Ice, Chainsaw They/Them, Neon Genesis Evangelion, African American Butler, Unalive Parade, Cells Not at Work, Gun Control Classroom, The Devil is a Union Leader, Card for Your Sakura, Conscientious Objector Moon, Motorcycle Accident. Ah, that sucks. Do you like the tiger drawing? Call and let us know. 1-800-LAW-TIGERS. Very helpful. Asked my 5-year-old what she wanted for dinner, and she said, not a burned quesadilla, because in the summer of 2019, I overcooked one side of her quesadilla. Was the grink there energy? People these days just posting inside jokes inside the whole damn internet. This idiot hasn't heard of the grink. I must not stir the pot. Stirring the pot is the notifications killer. Participation in the discourse is the little death that brings total activity obliteration. I will face the bad opinions on the internet. I will permit them to pass over me and through me. And when they have gone past, I will turn the block button onto their source. Where the discourse has come from, there will be nothing. Only I will remain. You don't have to argue online. You can just read what they say, respond to it in your mind, and then you've won the argument. They can't fight back. They essentially disappear. You basically kill them. All these gay girls are like, wow, I want a big lady to step on me. But where is the love for short girl stepping on you? Short girl intimidating you with her presence and body language alone until you fall over and she steps on you. Short girl taking down a girl who's much taller than her and making her submit. Where's the love for my Shadow of the Colossus girlies? Where's the love for girls like this? OP, this is a very hot concept and your post is valid, but did you have to explain this with the gif from Penguins of Madagascar? Devil on my shoulder. We have work in 8 hours. If we go to sleep right now, we'll be reasonably rested in time to do labor. Angel on my shoulder. We need to see more of this canned fish reviewer guy's YouTube channel. He's got something special going on. Who the F keeping pads with no wings in production? Put it in your drawers, and by the time you walk out the bathroom, it's down the street buying scratch-offs at the corner store. Like, girl. One of my favorite genres of post is evocative imagery. Out of the backyard gang, Baljeet is one of the worst to make into a coffee table. Fur would also be pretty bad. Phineas and Isabel would be mid because they have those big heads, but the skinny bodies. Might be worse than Baljeet and Ferb if you're a person who cares about symmetry. Buford would objectively make the best coffee table because his silhouette has the most evenly spaced surface area. Now, if you want to talk about Phineas and Ferb characters in general, I think Pet Mode Perry would be the best coffee table out of all of them. Love this kind of post where you have to have seen a different specific post for it to make any sense at all. Cool Beans Custom Tables. $400. Every single time I try to check Facebook Marketplace for furniture, I get jump scared by this admittedly sick custom Baljeet coffee table. On one hand, I get that the push to move out is driven by like nuclear family values, etc., but like also 90% of people I meet who are unhappy would have most of their problems fixed by simply no longer living with their parents. It's made me very pro moving out. If you're feeling stifled, controlled, or constantly anxious, I think you should start working on moving the F out. I remember being 19 and being like, the drive to move out is so Western and it's important to stay with the family for my own finances and for the connection it brings. And literally, as soon as I moved out, it was like, oh, so this is what it's like to not feel constantly suffocated and hate my parents. And still, I meet really sheltered, anxious people who just haven't reached the realization that it feels like heaven to walk out of your room and have nobody breathing down your neck.